Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Unknown World here on the Days of Horror YouTube channel. Now, the Unknown World series of interviews that we are taking with many interesting people from all walks of life from all around the world is about discovering and talking about the bizarre, the weird, the wacky, the unexplained, the paranormal, the UFOs, supernatural, basically everything that this world has yet to reveal to us. Okay, there may not be real evidence, there may not be real proof that a lot of the subject matter that we are going to be discussing over the next few months in these interviews may well ever exist. But it's the unknown which makes these stories, these crazy stories, more unique. Now, tonight is no exception, and our special guest, many of you will know from the Most Haunted TV show here in the UK and probably around the world. That guest, my friends, is Mr. Richard Felix. By trade, if you want to say trade, he is a local historian, but I would really say a paranormal historian. He's also a tour guide, a guest speaker. He does ghost tours in and around Derby, and I think he also does many other areas. But he is a fascinating character, and he knows quite a lot about the paranormal. So sit back, my friends, get yourselves a strong drink because I think you might need it, and welcome to Mr. Richard Felix. Many thanks, Richard, for coming on tonight and spending some of your valuable time with us. I'm sure our viewers will love to hear some of your stories and obviously some of the questions that I'm going to throw towards you. And like I've just said off camera, there's nothing tricky. It's just a straightforward chat. This is a new channel. This is like a new segment of the channel that me and my wife run, Days of Horror. Because normally what we do, we normally cover, as our viewers will know, we normally cover things such as like true crime, but from like the Victorian period up to the early to mid 1900s. But we also do like to dabble with the paranormal. So it's not just history, it's not just crime. We also like to do paranormal things. We've just recently been to 30 East Drive in Pontefract. That's our 4th visit. But we know you're like the go-to man when it comes to all things paranormal. So there's going to be a lot of paranormal questions, as well as obviously some questions about your career as a whole. Because I think personally it would be an injustice if we just talked about paranormal. Because obviously you've got a lot of bows to your string throughout your many years of, and I've got it wrote down. You know, I mean, people call you a local historian, but I did hear an interview you did where you like to class yourself as a paranormal historian.
Yeah.
I've got you down as an author, a guest speaker, tour guide. You know, so you've got a wide range of things to your boy. It's not just paranormal.
That's very true.
So the first question is, how would you best describe what your career has been so far? Is it a variety of things?
One word, varied, I suppose. I mean, most people say, you know, these days especially, they say that a job isn't for life, is it anymore?
Nope,
but
nope.
I mean, crikey! I started 30 years as a record dealer.
Is that how long it's been? 30 years.
30 years I was selling records,
right.
Pop record, mainly singles, but single 45s, 7-inches we used to call them. Christ Almighty, that was my life. That was very. You know, I sold more pop singles to people in Derby than anybody else. But that was, you know, obviously my dad started that in 1925.
Right.
Selling records. So that was my. Then where did it check? Well, then I became at the same time chairman of Derby Tourism, and thought so. I had no interest. I mean, as you said, local historian, but I wasn't. I mean, my passion in life is military, soldiers. All I ever wanted to be was a soldier, and battles, uniforms, swords, guns, military. That's my hobby or my passion in life, to be honest with you. Not local history at all. And then I became chairman of Derby Tourism and realised that we needed to find out some rather fascinating and exciting historical facts about Derby to try and attract people there. I opened a heritage centre myself in an old Tudor grammar school that had some very, very famous schoolboys go there from 1554.
Right.
And it had got a ghost upstairs.
Yeah.
A ghost of a little boy in the dormitories. And I thought, right, well, how are we going to get people to come to Derby? What can I do? Oh, York do ghost walks. And so I thought, right, well, let's try a ghost walk. And I did one and I hated it. I thought it was rubbish. I thought, I can't do this. In other words, what I said to myself was, everybody enjoyed it, but me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought, this is crap. I mean, I'd got stories that I'd read stories, one or two people had told me things, and I just found it ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it properly, and I need to believe in what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't do anything for about 10 months. And got involved's the wrong word, really, with if there are real mediums, then this guy was one from Derby. Seventh son of a seventh son, Irish extra. I mean, the works. And he was good. And he'd already done books on haunted Derbyshire and what have you. And I learned a lot about not only about ghost stories, ghost accounts, but also what ghosts were, in his opinion.
Yeah.
Which would become my opinion to a certain extent. So that's where that went. So that's how the ghost business. I started doing ghost walks, and they became rather popular. Had Derby declared the most haunted city in Great Britain.
I actually read that. I actually saw that article.
with York and Chester joint second.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, so what? It's in print. That's all that matters, in the papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was incredible. And then got a phone call from this company called Antics Productions, Most Haunted, asking if they could come and do a program from Derby Jail.
Right.
And so I went, obviously charged them a £750 location fee. And they all turned up. Derek and Yvette and everybody else turned up. And I was there all night, spent all night with them. And that was it. Good program, series 1. Yeah. And then after the program, about a month later, I got a phone call from Yvette saying, could Carl come down and see you in Derby again? I said, of course you can, yeah. She says, he's got a proposition for you. So I thought, whoa, that sounds interesting. So down he comes and says to me, as the proprietor of the building and as a witness, because I'd seen a ghost in Derby in Derby Jail, as proprietor and witness, you should have had a 2-minute slot on the show, on the program. But he said, to be honest with you, Richard, after 20 minutes, we didn't know where to edit it. Would you like a job? Would you like to become, well, as they said to me, our new paranormal investigator? Yeah, yeah. And I said, well, I'm not, because I'm not. Yeah, I'm still not. Not really. No, I'm not. I mean, I don't know what I am really.
Whatever it is, it works, because I've watched a lot of your videos on your own YouTube channel, and you do them really, really well. Yeah, and so anyway, basically that didn't happen. I was supposed to. I turned up to the first ever live at Dudley as a paranormal investigator, and was told, no, you're not. You're an expert. You're a historian. Right. Oh, I said, am I? That's nice. Really? And then I said, well, if you're going to be that, I'm going to be a paranormal historian. Yeah. Yeah. Because, right, the whole crux of the whole thing that I'm interested in is the history that created the ghost. Yeah. I can't prove the ghosts, but I can prove the history behind it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I believe, and I know that everyone else out there feels the same.
makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah.
If you
I mean, sorry.
No, you carry on.
No, I mean, it's about the all going back to you were talking about, obviously, your interest is in like the military and, you know, the older side. And again, I've done a bit of homework, a bit of research on you, and I think like your link between the military and the paranormal. I'm sure I read that you had some form of cancer, didn't you?
Oh Christ, yeah.
When you was a young boy, and did it kind of like
it buggered
open
up
your eyes, if that makes sense?
Oh Jesus, yeah. I was 18 at the time, and I was all set for a military career in the 17th, 21st Lancers. A commission. I was taking a short service commission because that was my life. That's all I wanted to be, was a soldier, and I got through everything apart from the medical.
Nah.
And they said, "I'm sorry, mate." I said, "Well, they've killed." I mean, I had terminal cancer. It was called Hodgkin's.
Right.
It's called Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is blood cancer. This is Jesus Christ Almighty. It's hang on a minute. It's Jesus. I was 18. Oh, hold on. 28, 38, 48, 58, 68.
Let me give a calculator out.
55 years ago.
Is that how
and
long
I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm still going. I think I'm in recession, or whatever you call it. Remission. Remission.
I just remember reading, about, and it kind of opened your eyes to, you know, just life. How fragile life is.
Rejoice. Make the most of it. Enjoy every minute because it's a gift. And that's so true. Yeah, it's altered my outlook on life in general.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. You know, every day is a blessing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even now you look fit as a fiddle. You really do. I mean, I've watched your videos and you're bouncing around like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just the same. Never changed. Yeah. Peter Pan of the Ghost World.
But so that, like I said, it was going to kind of lead me onto the old, you know, the most haunted side of your career, and which I spoke to you about just before we started recording this. And you know, I don't want it to be all about most haunted because, like I said, I think it'll do you an injustice because of your career since most haunted. If that makes sense.
Yes. Although, I mean, first of all, whatever anybody says about it, we set the scene for all of the ghost programs that have been on since.
Yeah.
And before Most Haunted, I mean, all we actually had was Strange But True with Michael Aspel, which was very good, by the way. It was documentary type more, wasn't it? And that's what I liked, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that was all there was. And then all of a sudden, along came Most Haunted, and it became a phenomenon. You know, we got more viewers than The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And it entertained. My God, it entertained people.
I used to watch it. All the time.
We wouldn't be talking now, probably.
No, we wouldn't. No.
A lot of the folks out there listening and wouldn't be listening if it wasn't for Most Haunted.
No.
So, you know, at the end of the day, that single program created more argument, more debate, more discussion, and more research than any ghost program ever has and ever probably will do. To be quite honest,
that's true. I mean,
awesome. You know, from that point of view.
Yeah.
But one or two things I ask people. Number one, everybody out there that watched it, did any of you guys actually learn any more about what a ghost was from watching the show?
I personally didn't.
No, all of you out there now, because of Most Haunted, not since, but because of it, tell me what a poltergeist really is, what the stone tape theory is all about, what a crisis apparition is, what a phantasm is, from watching the show. No, because you can't, because it didn't tell you anything about anything. Not really, it didn't.
No.
And secondly, the big one that I've already here we go. Have you ever really seen them investigate?
No.
Because as soon as something happens, everybody screams and runs off.
Yeah. I always remember that girl who used to be with you. Was she called Kath?
Yeah,
And as soon
cat
as
out.
something happened, it was hysterics, and that was it. They're all running out, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But surely we're supposed to be paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
Surely the whole and this gets me with all of them. Ghost adventures, don't matter what it is. Every time something happens, they scream and run off.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to rejoice when something happens because you're investigating
And
and
that's
do
what you're there
something
for.
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being frightened of fish and going fishing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I've caught a fish. Oh,
That's a good analogy.
That
I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that off you. I'm going to borrow that.
do by all means. But
I like that.
it's fact.
It's true.
Unbelievable.
It's true. I mean, there is a couple of channels now who myself and my wife watch quite religiously.
Right.
One of them is the Ouija brothers. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No,
really nice bunch of lads. There's two of them. There's two of them, and funnily enough, they're not brothers, but that's the channel name, the Ouija brothers. But
is this on YouTube?
It is on YouTube. They've just hit.
Right.
I think they've just hit 100,000 subscribers, so they're doing really well for themselves. 100,000 subscribers now.
How many again?
Sorry, 100,000 subscribers.
Wow, fantastic.
So they're doing really well. But the good thing about them two boys is, from what I remember, Steve, the main guy, always credits Most Haunted for what he's doing now.
Really?
So, like you said, if it wasn't for yourself and the team at Most Haunted, the Ouija brothers probably would not be here now. You know what I mean? But the thing is with the Ouija brothers, they don't do any of the fakery stuff. They've literally uploaded videos where they spend hours and not
watching paint dry.
Thing. So they are doing it in the proper way. They're investigating, as you were just asking.
And that's what it's supposed to be. That's the whole idea. That's fantastic.
Honestly, they've always credited yourselves and Most Haunted for what they're doing now. So, like you said, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be talking now, and you wouldn't have all these interesting channels now.
No, that's right. And the big one, of course, is that most of the big what's the word I'm looking for? Not investigations. When people have biggest discoveries on the planet have usually been made by amateurs.
That's right. Yeah.
So you never know, do you?
No.
You never know what somebody might one day come up with proof. There is no proof.
It's funny you say that, because myself and my wife, just over a week ago, we were sat here in this very spot. My wife was at side of me, and we did a live stream. And I put the question out to people watching: why can't we prove the existence of ghosts? And this is a question I was going to ask you later on, but I might as well ask it now while we're here.
Yeah.
But
why can't we prove it?
Yeah, and I was go on.
Does it? I mean, right. First of all, there is no proof whatsoever that ghosts exist. But guess what? There's no proof they don't exist.
Yes. Yeah.
So that hasn't answered it. But I mean, all this nonsense and crap about we're not supposed to know. Well, who says we're not?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah.
The big man with the beard in the sky that doesn't exist.
Be careful. Be careful.
Did he say that? I mean, come on. Why is it a man, by the way?
Well, in this day and age, it could be anything.
Well, yes,
could be a fish.
It could indeed, couldn't it? Now we've got to be careful.
We're going to have people shouting us, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. But no, joking apart. No. So there's certainly nothing that's been. No law has been made to say that we can't. There's no. Nothing is there to stop them from coming back. You can't summon them.
No.
They can only come back of their own accord. Do you know what I mean? I mean, mediums. So I'm told. A medium is a bit like a telephone exchange.
Yeah.
They spirit comes through them, but they can't summon. They can't call your granddad up.
No.
Your dad can come through if he's in the queue. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I believe that they can't. So I believe that they. I mean, I obviously believe in ghosts, and I've spoken to too many people over the last 31 years of doing this to know that there is something in it, because I've had so the proof for me is Joe Public.
Right.
People that have experienced, seen, heard, sensed, felt, smelt, for want of a better word, a ghost, which I want to change the name straight away from ghost to energy.
Yeah. Well,
that's what we are.
That's another question I was going to get to shortly.
Yeah.
But you know,
so carry on. So ghosts. The word ghost means to be frightened of. It's a verb, not a noun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We now call it. Oh, I've seen a ghost, but no, that's not true. The word ghost means to be frightened. We're frightened of what we don't understand.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And so the word ghost is a verb, but the word is energy, and that's what we are. And if you want proof, then you just quote the first law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Is it E equals mc squared? I don't know what that means. I'm no scientist, by the way. You can neither create or destroy energy.
Right. Yeah.
You can alter its state. In other words, you can change it in the same way as you can change paper. If you set fire to paper, you change it, you completely change its state, its structure, and whatever, but you haven't destroyed it, and you haven't destroyed the atoms that make that paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a similar. Do you know what I mean? It's a similar, similar sort of thing, and it's the same with the. There's two parts to us. There's the vessel that holds the energy, the body. That's energy, but it still remains energy because it becomes fertilizer for daffodils.
Well, this is what I mentioned. This is what I mentioned during our live stream about the energy aspect of who we are, and when we pass over, that energy never goes. Like you just said, it will either be absorbed by the ground, or if we're cremated, it goes into the atmosphere, and we're back with the stars, if you will, or with the ground.
But there's another energy that's inside, and that's an electromagnetic energy that is you. And when I say you, I literally mean you, because what I mean is your energy, your soul, your spirit, your consciousness, your ego, your mind.
Yeah.
You, because there's only one you in this universe and beyond. There might be others that look like us, but there's only one individual you that's got the mind of you.
Yeah, we're all unique, aren't we?
Yeah, totally unique.
Yeah.
And that energy, or call it whatever you want, which I don't think is the brain, by the way. I think the brain is the hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stores that I don't think the brain controls. I think the mind controls.
Yeah.
And I don't think the mind is just centered in the brain.
Yeah.
I think it's all over. And that's why, this is my latest one, why I think that when people have a transplant, they sometimes take on some characteristics of the donor.
Yeah. I've read stories of that. I've read a few stories of that.
Yeah.
And it's,
wow.
I mean, this now leads us on to another question. Again, this was going to come later on, but because we're at this state of the discussion.
Yes.
What do you think about, maybe, as you were saying, about the energy transfer and something, it can go elsewhere. If say suddenly somebody loses their life suddenly through a tragic accident, murder. I know I shouldn't really talk about it, but what
executions, suicides,
exactly. Something through a war. I kind of believe myself. This is my belief, because I also believe ghosts are real. I always, for many years I've believed, but I always wonder if a life is lost tragically and suddenly, unexpectedly, could an object, an item, or a time in space absorb that tragedy and it gets replayed over? So like a VHS tape maybe, and it just carries on.
Such a believer in that. Such a believer in that. I think that makes up 60% of. Now that isn't your spirit and soul. I don't think. I think that's the energy of you dying can be held in possibly the atmosphere, but certainly the surroundings, the bricks, the stone, the walls, the woodwork, with water, especially water.
You hear a lot about that.
Water.
Yeah, you hear a lot.
Yeah. Homeopathic medicine. Similar thing. You dilute something into it, but the water retains what you've put into it and diluted it.
Right.
In the same way as so. In other words, basically, as someone's dying tragically, the energy that they emit, which is, see, everybody emits 2 kilowatts of electricity.
Yeah.
In a 24-hour cycle. Every person does, but they have a power reservoir within them that are used in time of crisis, as they're dying, and it's referred to as a death flash.
Right.
And that death, in other words, so as a human being is dying in a dying state, we emit 1,000 times more protons than we do during our normal living state.
Right. I've never heard of that.
And that can generate up to 100 volts.
Right. That's
Now,
interesting.
that is the energy in the same way as a camera or something. It's a death flash. And it can record the image of the person in the fabric of the building, in the soil, in the clay, in stones, in the bricks. Because basically all of that stuff is silica. And silica is made up, here we go, it's a science lesson now. Silica is made up of oxygen, which is negative, and silicon, which is positive. And when the two come together, this is rock, by the way, and clay, and sand, and quartz, and crystal, and water, and anything else that can hold a recording, if you know what I mean. It's a semiconductor. Now, the redder the clay, the redder the bricks, the redder the sandstone, the redder the bricks, the stone in the castle, the more iron oxide there is in it, which is rust, which is magnetic.
Yeah.
So that's all the properties of a cassette tape that can hold a recording.
Right.
And all you need is the energy to make the recording into that that vessel, that item, and the energy comes from you.
Yeah.
Whereas in a cassette recorder, the energy comes from a battery.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, like I said, I've always believed, and I watched a video, and again, we're going to get onto it shortly, but you started a haunted pub like inspector type video.
Oh God!
And you mentioned this about the energy. You actually mentioned the energy in that video, which it struck bells with me, because I'm like, that's exactly what you said. I've always believed that this energy that we all have, some might call it the soul. I don't know, but I kind of believe it has to go somewhere. So why can't it stay in that fabric of time?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it could be played back.
Played back. Now, the question I always ask is, you see, well, why aren't all ghosts stark naked?
Yeah, good question.
Well, what, you know, how can you see the ghost of a Roman soldier's helmet and his shield and his breastplate and his sword and his sandals? Because that's how he was dressed when the recording was made.
And it's kind of absorbed that.
And it's a record. It's the image of a dead person.
Yeah.
But it's like a photograph, or as you said, a video, or and that's what I think up. I think that's what we mistakenly call a ghost. Well, 60% of what we mistakenly call a ghost is a recording held in the fabric of today's magic will be tomorrow's science. You know, I mean, hang on, I'm being recorded now.
Yeah, exactly. 100 years ago, you couldn't do this.
But, you know, so in other words, in 20 years' time, when I've snuffed it, you'll still be able to see this recording.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Today's magic will be tomorrow's science.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is the thing that I usually fall out with a lot of people over. Like you touched on about 10 minutes ago, just because we can't prove the existence of ghosts doesn't mean they don't exist. It's just because we haven't got the capabilities now to record them, to hear them.
Yeah.
You know,
and so the more the more research that's done by us, by amateurs, the more chance there is that we might go. Because the trouble is, science doesn't want to know.
No.
Do you know why? Because there's no proof. What a load of rubbish.
Because science is supposed to prove
what science is there for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what science is there for.
Yeah.
To prove things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't science prove that the Earth revolved around the sun?
Yeah. Well, to some flat earthers, no.
Yay! I know, but think about
it. That's another subject.
Yeah. Isn't science proving things all the time?
Yeah.
So come on, scientists. But you see, shall I tell you the trouble? One of the troubles, all the silly ghost programs, science say, oh, it's a load of rubbish. This is all rubbish.
Yeah.
It's that silly ghost program.
Yeah.
That's been on, and so because of that, it's all become Scooby Doo, and science doesn't want to know.
Yeah, I mean, there is, like you said, there's a lot of, not just on TV, on Prime TV, there's a lot on YouTube where, like you've just said, there's so much fakery and so many people screaming and running around.
All the time.
And another one there, Richard, is there's a lot of demons in all these shows.
Go away.
Since when did demons become, the be all and end all of spirits?
Since when did demons exist?
Well, exactly.
Because they don't. They were invented by the church.
Yeah.
1700 years ago, when Constantine, the Roman emperor, stole Christianity and called it the Roman Church, and invented all of the terrors that have kept us under control to keep us under control. When he created the devil, he created little devils called demons. And so if anybody believes in the devil, they believe in demons as well. Or should I say, if anybody believes in silly demons, then they also must believe in the devil, which is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life, because there's no such thing. People screaming at me now. Screaming. There's no such thing as demons. There might be evil, because I don't think for 1 minute that Hitler's wandering around picking daffodils up at this time of year.
Exactly.
But most human beings are nice. And that means most ghosts are nice.
Yeah.
Because they were once human beings.
Yeah.
Like you and me. They were you and me.
Yeah. I mean,
you can call people, you can call a kid a little demon if he's a very naughty little boy or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a word, and it's crap. I'm sorry, it's no such thing.
Well, me and my wife, both myself and my wife, we watch far too many of these channels. I'll hold my hand up to it. We do, even though we know 9 out of 10 are fake and it's all for dramatization. But we watch them. But me and my wife said the same.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Me and my wife said the same, but. Since when has it always been about demons? Like you said, where did demons come from?
Because basically television and all newspapers and everything else, they only deal with the negative.
Yeah, they do.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. And every damn TV program that's on is. I mean, here we go. It doesn't matter whether it's. Oh, come on! I'm trying to think of. To prime example, Grand Designs. Grand Design. Have you ever seen one of the programs yet where the people either haven't run out of money, or the rain stopped the work, or the roof's fallen in, or the windows are too the wrong size when they've arrived? Did you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And it's everything. Another one. Escape, what is it? Escape to the Chateau, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Every damn thing is, are they going to get it done in time? The wedding's in 2 days' time, and the wine hasn't been delivered, and the roof's leaking in it. It's the same with ghost programs. It's the same with ghost programs. It's got to be scary and demonic, and
But this is why. Sorry, this is why. If we go back to the most haunted, like a full loop. This is kind of why myself and my wife stopped watching Most Haunted. This was way after yourself had finished being with the show.
Yeah.
But we carried on watching for a while after, and we stopped watching because every episode there was coin throwing, knife throwing, there was whistling, there was orbs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, how can a ghost whistle? It hasn't got any lips. Think about it, guys. I'm sorry. And do you really think that? It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And yet it was a fantastic program.
Yeah.
And people are still watching it, and good luck, because they created a program that nobody else has ever created anything like it or as good. But so long as you take it as entertainment, you're fine.
Yeah,
but that's basically the situation.
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
So, coming away from Most Haunted, but staying with the paranormal.
Yes.
You said you've had the experience with the young boy, and that's kind of how it kick-started, one would say, your fascination with the subject. Have you had any more experiences?
Oh
And
yeah.
if
Well,
so,
excuse me. Yeah.
which,
Well, you
which
see
has been the most
that.
frightening?
Yeah. Well, you see again, none of them.
None of them.
No.
But you are
No.
frightened of ghosts, though, aren't you?
I'm frightened of ghosts.
Yes, I
I've been
thought you
frightened
were.
of ghosts since I was 4.
Seriously,
And
that long?
so, yeah, it's a bloody long time, 71 years ago, mate. Basically, I used to play with kids that were older than me,
Yeah.
and I was obviously impressed. I was only 4, and they used to shut me in this bloody rabbit hutch and tell me the green ghost was going to get me at night when I got home, and then they'd lock me in my garage, and I'd be hammering on the doors, let me out, and they say, your mum and dad are dead, you can't go home, and the green ghost will get you.
That's
And
nice,
I
then.
obviously was rather impressionable, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I wasn't frightened of ghosts, by the way. I was terrified of ghosts. I mean, nightmares, night sweats, waking in the night, terror for years and years and years. And it's still there.
Yeah.
I still, when my father died at the age of 83, I was frightened that he'd come into the bedroom.
It's strange, isn't it?
My wife says, "You're mad. You weren't frightened of him when he was alive.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you be frightened of him now?" She doesn't believe in any of this, by the way. No such thing as ghosts. Once you're dead, you're dead, as far as my wife's concerned. But even so, she couldn't believe that I mean it. I was actually quite concerned for a night or two.
Yeah.
In case Dad appeared at the foot of the bed.
But
How
I suppose
bloody stupid.
But is that because it's again, as this title's called, The Unknown World? Is it because it is an unknown situation?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably passes
we're
over.
frightened of what we don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. So even as a child, that must be even more frightening.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, really. I remember the scariest incident that's ever happened. Yeah, that's ever happened to me was going to the pictures to see a Disney film with Sean Connery in it called Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
I've never heard of that one.
Well, if you want to watch it, it's the most terrifying bit on it, where a banshee hovers over this house, this cottage in Ireland. And it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think I slept for a week.
Yeah.
After seeing it. And you know, it's still with me now.
But it's weird,
really, really frightened me.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because I was similar the first time as a child watching The Wizard of Oz, and I know this is going to be a bit.
No, you're right. I know what you mean.
When the Wicked Witch first appears, and then you know what I mean. That kind of stuck with me for a long time, and yet that was a child.
Things like that do. Yeah, but of all the incidents that I've had, none of them scared. Well, sorry, they weren't frightening. I was concerned because I'm frightened of ghosts. But I mean, I saw. Probably, I think the whole world knows this. But I mean, I saw a ghost in Derby Jail at 3:20 on a Friday afternoon in broad daylight, which glided down the corridor past me. Not when I say past me, there was a wall between us, but there was a cutout window, and I watched it go by, and it wasn't male, it wasn't female. It wasn't clothed. It was person shaped, but the greyest of grey haze, person shaped. And I saw it and I sensed it as well. I was on the phone to a guy, so I got somebody with, you know what I mean, talking to me, and I mean, it shocked me. Yeah, of course it did. Yeah. And then I went and tried to create reality by putting the phone down and going and looking to see where it had gone down the corridor, and it wasn't there. There was nobody there. No. Because I converted it to reality. You know, someone's come in. We're not open, but someone's come in, and it wasn't there. And I have to say, then the hair stood on the back of my neck when I realised what I'd seen, and it was not there anymore. But when I say frightened, it didn't. And then I heard a ghost in a place in Nottingham that was a voice of a young lad dying of his wounds, calling for a nurse. Right. And I found out later that the place was requisitioned by the army during the Second World War as a hospital. And there's no doubt in my mind that I heard him. I heard a recording of him in the bricks in the fabric of the building. Yeah. And the third one was when I travelled with a ghost that I hadn't seen. Yeah. Which the guy that saw it in his mirror, in my passenger seat when there was no one there, he believes was my dad. Right. but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't sense him. I didn't sense it, but he saw him. I saw this person anyway. And so all those 3 incidents, they weren't frightening, because this is what I'm trying to say to people. It's not frightening when it happens. Well, it depends. Yeah, hang on, I say that. It was 3:20 on a Friday afternoon. I was stood in Derby jail talking to a bloke on the phone. It wasn't the scariest, but I can imagine what on earth happens to someone when they wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And see something stood at the side of their bed. Christ, I think it'd kill me.
I think it would with me. I think it would with me.
I think it would. I really think it would kill me.
Yeah. I mean,
then again, go on. But do you not think possibly the first impression of what you see is a burglar?
Yeah, well, this is what I was about to say, because you first, it's fight or flight syndrome, isn't it? There's somebody in your room.
Yeah.
And so you've got the fear. This is it. You've got the fear it could be a burglar, but then when you rationalise it and lights are on and there's nobody in your house, then you've got the fear of, oh my God.
It was a ghost. And we're frightened of ghosts. And we're frightened of ghosts.
Yeah.
Because we've been conditioned to be frightened of ghosts.
Exactly.
So, I say, I saw people be screaming at the screen saying, what do you mean wasn't frightened? I was terrified when I saw it at 3 a.m. at the foot of my bed, oh Christ, no wonder. Hey, or I turned into the back seat of my car and there was another figure sitting there. I said, wow. So I'm sorry. Yes, it can be frightening. Of course it can. But the ones that happened to me weren't, funnily enough. And then the other one I had at Derby Jail was when a glass of whiskey threw itself off the table while everyone was watching, and I was doing ghost stories.
Right.
It's incredible. It's on YouTube. Everybody wants to see it. You just go to YouTube. Go onto YouTube and put Derby Jail whiskey glass.
Well, what we'll do, we'll put links down anyway, and people
by all means.
All your social media, your websites, all your videos.
Yeah, that didn't frighten me either. It didn't frighten me. And yet this guy's frightened to go. So what's going on?
Well, the thing is, people will be asking the question is, you've been doing this for so long now, all these ghost tours, these wonderful videos that you've brought out over the years, but yet you're frightened of ghosts.
What the hell am I doing it for?
But it's interesting. It really is interesting stuff.
But
now, the other thing is, pardon?
It's different.
It is different. But people who know me and know my wife, like our subscribers, they know by now that anything to do with paranormal, I've got a book here, Into the Unknown. Anything that cannot be explained, I'm all over it. I absolutely love it. And I always say to people, you've got to be open-minded with this type of thing. You can't just shut it down and say, oh, it's a load of rubbish, it doesn't exist. Because you said right at the start, you can't prove it exists, you can't prove it doesn't exist. So be open. And I said this in the last interview I did with another chap. We have to be open-minded, I believe. If we ever want to progress as human beings, you know what I mean? I just think you've got to open your eyes. It's a big world out there. We don't know what fully is out there yet. I honestly believe that.
We don't know what's on other dimensions, frequencies, time zones, levels. No, there's so much more going on within our world and beyond.
But what I find fascinating, we're kind of going off subject to an extent, but this is it the collider, the Hadron or Hadron collider.
Oh,
where they're smashing atoms together.
That's supposed to have proved there's no such thing as ghosts, isn't it?
Well, and then parallel universes now they're talking about, aren't they? Different universes, how they can all intertwine. So then you start getting into the proper science, if you want, of
you do. Oh yes, you do. Holographic universes and interconnectivity, and as you've just said, parallel universes and dimensions, and Well, let's go into it more.
But exactly, people are laughing at us now, saying, "Oh God, they're talking about parallel universes." But this is what scientists are now talking about, aren't they? They're actually
I know that.
Putting their minds together and talking about smashing these atoms, and it's revealing new particles and new answers, and so like you say, even though we said science isn't really looking at the paranormal, it kind of might overlap in the next 10, 20, 50 years.
Yes, I think so.
You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating.
Now, another one you were doing, and I was being a bit nosy today on your website. and you used to do podcasts. The Ghost Tour of Great Britain, I think it was called.
That's right.
How are you doing it?
I've got lazy. I've got very lazy. I did an awful lot of stuff during COVID, and I used to do 2 FaceTime hours a week, talking to all the folks on my fan sites and my Facebook and all that sort of stuff. And I've been doing quite a lot of. I did about 12, 15 podcasts, and they went mad. They were all over in Japan and America and Canada, and I don't know. I've become very complacent recently, and I'm getting lazy. I mean, you say I should have been retired 10 years ago, shouldn't I? I never will, by the way. But
the thing is, you've never stopped, have you? You've
never
actually stopped.
No, I haven't. No. Ghost walks, tours, trips, you name it, I'm doing it still. I've just started doing haunted bus tours as well with people, with about 40, 50 people on them, taking around Derbyshire, and haunted pub crawls I'm doing. And obviously, I plan to do an awful lot more with this YouTube channel. An awful lot more. It's a case of watch this space, guys. Because but the problem I've got, I have a big problem trying to work out how to do it, as regards editing and all of that. Because I can now become my own producer, director, and everything, and create my own ghost programs. Which I intend to do. But I've got to get round this editing side of things and how to use a gimbal properly and everything else.
Well, we just go out with GoPros. Me and my wife, we've got a GoPro because it's got all the stabilization built in, and you're not messing about. But it depends on what type of subject you do, what type of what channels are going to be about. Like, you obviously always be ghost, paranormal,
but mainly ghostly, but not only, because it's also crime and punishment and executions. I mean, one of the big ones, I've got loads of stuff I want to do. I need to go to Paris and do all the sites of the guillotine.
Right, that'd be interesting.
And all the incredible accounts of what went on during the terror of the French Revolution, and the burial sites and everything. It's all, wow, a hell of a program that would make.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
Oh, awesome. In fact, I intend to do a program called Execution, a Medley of Butchery and Torture.
That's some twister.
We're full of all the types of execution that we've done over over man's history, if you know what I mean.
And I tell you what,
there's lots of stuff. Go on.
But I mean, speaking of that, I mean, like we've touched upon earlier about when people lose their life suddenly. Just how barbaric as human beings have we been over the centuries, to one another. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible what we've done to each other.
Yeah.
And it's all, this word execution, or more than punishment, it's really not, it's actually revenge.
Yes.
Vengeance, sorry. Vengeance is the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
An eye for an eye and a...
I was just about to say eye for an eye. But
that's what it is.
We've covered many stories, me and my wife, on John Ellis, the famous hangman.
Oh, God,
because he's very close to where we live, you see. He's literally a 10-minute drive away. And we've covered many of the crimes that he hung the perpetrators. And it's like you said, it's an eye for an eye. It's a form of vengeance, isn't it?
It was. Yeah.
And it's but what we've done to people over the centuries, torture,
hang, drawn, and quartered.
Yeah, exactly. It's
pressing to death.
But the thing is, Richard, we talk about us being frightened of ghosts when it's a fellow human being who we should be more frightened of, isn't it?
Yes. There's no doubt about
that. And also, that again leads us to going back to the paranormal. Like you've said, if we can be so evil as a living person through our lives, that carries over to the other side.
Definite.
And this is where you get maybe a poltergeist activity, or you get people being pushed or scratched, if you believe in all that side of it.
Yes, because there is evil.
Yeah.
There are evil people. Demon, call them demons if you want, but they're not. But there is evil. And the other side to this, of course, is, and of course I've always referred to this with the Pendle witches. Yes. Because number one, they weren't witches.
No.
They were Roman Catholics. that were on the wrong side of religion at the time, because we were a
Mm-hmm.
Protestant country. They were, funnily enough, this time they were actually celebrating a mass on Good Friday.
Right.
And that was supposedly their coven or whatever. Anyway, they were demonized.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this is your grandma, right? Your 68, 70, 78-year-old grandma that's being, trying to get her to admit that she's a witch.
Yeah.
And that's by not torture as such, because would you believe torture was illegal
No.
in this country? But torture such as stripping them naked, shaving them, looking for the devil's mark, making them stay up, walking up and down the cell for 36 hours continuously, swimming them, throwing them in the river. And if they sank to the bottom, they were innocent. If they rose to the surface, they were guilty.
Burned.
Absolutely. Now, you can understand them being rather angry, can't you?
Yeah. 100%.
And still being around because they're so angry at what's happened, because they were innocent.
Yeah.
Yes, don't get me wrong. They were probably, like a scold's bridle that we used to use for old ladies that were always mouthing off at people, You can't play out here, and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And they used to put a scold's bridle in them. So they were probably not that perhaps they were the neighbour from hell. Or they were just a bit mediumistic and they had a certain gift, or they were practicing things that people didn't understand, like helping you because you'd got a tummy ache and they gave you a potion.
Exactly.
Or a poultice for the wound
they
on
lived
your
off
arm.
the land, didn't they, most of them?
They lived off the land. It was a bit like popping down to Boots, the chemist.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And so they were suspicious. They were cunning, or whatever you want to. And so because of that, the poor old bitch was demonized and executed. Now, doesn't that mean that she's going to be even more evil
in the afterlife?
In the afterlife, I think so.
Yeah, I do.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But as regards being a witch, like nonsense, I'm afraid. It's a word anyway. There could be white witches, but same thing. So yes, people. There can be nasty people out, nasty ghosts.
Yeah. Before we finish,
yes, sir.
It's been really interesting. It's the times. I'm just looking at the time. It's absolutely flown.
Doesn't time fly when you're having fun?
It does. Now, one question is, I think we kind of touched upon it anyway, but how do you keep yourself motivated and avoiding all the burnouts with, the constant interviews like you're doing for us kindly tonight? And
that's a good question. That's a good question. I wonder if that's a little, because you see, obviously, I mean, ghost walks. I used to do a Chester ghost walk, a Leicester ghost walk, a York ghost walk, Chesterfield ghost walk, Ashbourne ghost walk, 2 Derby ghost walks, not every monthly, as well as and I've stopped.
So what you're saying is your wife barely saw you? Is that what you're saying?
No, hardly ever. And that's just the ghost walks I did. Never mind everything else I did as well. I also teach local history in schools, to primary schools, and all manner of everything else, and talks and tours and after dinner talks, and I do a thing called Dining with the Dead, which is a dinner where I do ghost stories in between courses and a talk at the end of it, that sort of stuff. And I have stopped doing a lot of my ghost walks. I've got a couple of fabulous guides that do a lot of my ghost walks for me now.
Right. Okay.
Because I've 31 years of wandering the streets. I think I'm becoming slightly complacent, and so I don't get burnt. I've slowed down, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I think, to a certain extent, I stopped doing my podcasts and my FaceTimes and me. But I need to start doing it. And I also want to start doing it on YouTube, because there's a community type thing on YouTube that you can do where you can actually talk to people, can't you?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah. I need to do that. I think
you do really, really well, honestly. I mean, even now, I was looking at your channel today, and it's over 10,000 subscribers. So you've got a lot.
That's in a year.
You've got a lot of people interested in it.
First year, and and that's all. That's all old stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, it might be old,
Yeah.
But you don't look a day older than when you filmed it. That's how well
Still,
you're looking.
I think there's a
Honestly.
few more wrinkles, a little bit more grey hair now. But I
Right?
mean, to be honest with you, yeah, some of them are 24 years old, you see. And I get a bit of stick because the music, of course, on them, they weren't made for modern day
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTubers.
Yeah.
It was for your telly, I think. And
Well,
so, but the new stuff will be different, obviously.
but the next question then was, and I've got it right here after
Yeah.
that one, is, so how do you handle, and I would presume you get it, but how do you handle the negativity maybe towards yourself, with the stories you tell, or to the videos you've uploaded? Do you deal? I mean, I don't deal with it well, I'll be honest with you. My wife will be first to tell you, any
Yeah.
negativity, I can't cope with it. It rattles
Well,
me.
we all hate it, and you can get 25 compliments, one negative, and that destroys your day.
Yeah, this is it,
We're
exactly.
all the same. We're
Yeah.
all the same. But I have to be really honest. I get so you see, big friend of mine, Richard Jones, who used to be the
Yep.
historian with
Yeah.
me, Richard
Does Jack the
on Most
Ripper
Haunted.
stores?
Yeah, he does his Jack the Ripper stuff and his
Yeah.
Haunted London and
Yeah.
fabulous guy. It really is incredible. And he's the one that got me to do this YouTube thing, right?
Right.
But he
Okay.
said, whatever you do, Richard, he said, make sure that you look at the comments before you post. Let them be posted
Oh,
because
so yeah, put them on a hold.
you'll get all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah.
I really haven't.
Which is
I've
good.
had so little bad comments. I'm over the moon. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I get the occasional, oh, that guy was on that stupid TV program,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was a fake. That was a fake, so he must be a fake, that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Occasional, and I mean occasional. I get a few comments about the music being too loud, and they can't hear it. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
nothing I can do about it because
No,
we cannot take the music off without removing the
the
voice
video. Yeah.
of
Exactly.
them, and they're so old. That's the.
Yeah.
Other than that, I get the occasion when I made a mistake. I think I did something about a haunted graveyards one, and I said that Charles Dickens was buried in I can't remember the name of it. The famous graveyard in London. What's it called?
Highgate.
Highgate.
No.
Yeah.
Highgate.
And apparently he's buried in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. But
Right.
okay, and all I say about is thank you ever so much for that. We
Yeah.
all make mistakes, don't we?
Yeah.
But honestly, very little. I'm amazed. It'll come
Yeah.
now, trust me. But I very
No, I
little,
don't
so
think
I'm
it will.
quite pleased.
Because I
I'm
mean,
quite pleased.
as I said at the start, the stories myself and my wife cover is like usually Victorian-ish up to like early 1900s true crimes we do. Sometimes they're not
Wow.
even famous people. It's local people to where we live, and that's how
Yes, I
our
bet.
channel started. But sometimes we will get people saying, "This guy wasn't killed here. This guy isn't, like you said, isn't buried there." When I first read it, sometimes I kind of like react to it,
Ooh,
like,
yeah,
"Oh, right,
yeah,
okay." But then it
yeah.
digests. I think, well, hang on, this guy's only being positive with me. He's only trying
Yes,
to correct
exactly.
me. So I've
Yeah,
started to learn now, and I said to people in the videos, if you've got anything wrong, by all means, let us know down below, and we'll try to rectify it, and blah blah blah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think you've got to have YouTube. You have to have a tough skin. I think nowadays, well, any
Oh,
social
yeah.
media.
Well, there's a lot of experts out there,
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, Richard, the thing is, these experts aren't doing what you're doing and going out daily at night
No,
time,
no,
daytime,
no,
doing all
no.
these things.
No, they're not. They're not.
You
They're
know what
not.
I mean?
They're sat at home on the computers.
Yeah, watching it for free. Let's be honest.
Yes,
And
exactly.
they're getting this
Yeah,
for
yeah,
free.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's
but
why I
no,
look at it.
I'm thrilled to bits at the moment with
Yeah,
the comments I'm getting.
yeah. Well, I just hope it
Lots of stuff.
continues.
So do I.
You know what I mean? And I hope the channel grows and grows. And I hope you
Well,
do.
it will do. It will do because I've
I
got
just hope, like
so
you say,
much.
you do the Paris
Yeah,
thing and you do all these other ideas you've got thrown in because they do sound really interesting.
I've got so much.
Yeah,
You see, the idea is to create a series. Probably going to call it the Felix Files.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
And dealing with each aspect of the paranormal,
Yeah, that'd be good.
be it ghosts in the church, the stone tape theory, poltergeists,
Yeah,
screaming skulls, all the different a program on each type of ghost.
Is that not something? I mean, I mean, I might be out of order here, but is that not something you could actually sell to maybe a TV company?
Well, yeah, I tell you what, the problem I've had is that all these TV companies only want scary.
Yeah, you've said that. You've said that, haven't you?
That's the trouble.
Yeah,
I've said it
they want
before,
drama, don't they?
and so they don't want to know me because I'm the bloke. That I mean, a prime example, right? And this was very seldom did this happen. You see, my take. You see, the reason I resigned from Most Haunted was because I mean, this was not my show, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for giving me a chance to be on it for Christ, 122 programs, I think.
Yeah.
And 20 lives, I think, something like that. Anyway, but the problem was that when a door slammed shut, right, and Yvette screamed, and I reacted because I'm frightened of ghosts, right? And you jump off your sofa at home because A, the bang from the door, and B, the scream from Yvette.
Yeah.
Great stuff. You've had your scare. You've enjoyed that because oh my god, my heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. You, Joe Public at home, right? All that then I wanted to be able to do because you see, it was a scary ghost that slammed the door shut. Always. And they're all scary, and it's the scary one that did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's probably going to get us later. Right.
Yeah.
This is the show, right? All I wanted to be allowed to do was to go and investigate and see if someone's left a window open.
Yeah.
Because actually it's a very windy night.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed to. It was a scary ghost.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the only time I remember where I actually managed to get in, and it was on the programme, we were at Margam Castle in Wales, which is it's a scary place, I'll tell you. It really is. And it was a bad night. It was a winter's night. The wind was howling, and it howls through that place like that. And this window starts banging, and everybody jumps, and Yvette screamed her head off as usual, which is all fine enough. And I said, Yvette's the wind. And she said, piffle, Richard Felix. And I said, Yvette, it's the bloody wind. and that was on, which I'm really surprised at.
Yeah.
And of course it was the wind. Tick the normal boxes first.
Yeah. See, I think a lot of people appreciate the honesty nowadays with the paranormal.
They would have done.
Yeah.
But you didn't get it.
No.
It was always a scary ghost, and they're all scary.
Like I said, this is why myself and my wife stopped watching it. Like I said, this was probably a year or two after yourself had finished. And then you had Derek Acorah, who was called out by Kieran O'Keefe, and
Derek went for. That was all set up.
Yeah,
of course, to get rid of him. Oh, enough of that. And you see, he went before. He went on series 5. And I managed to stick it out till series 8.
Yeah.
But again, Derek, love him or hate him, it didn't matter. He was the star of Most Haunted.
Yeah.
He made the program. He made that show. It doesn't matter whether you believed him or you didn't believe him or whatever. He was an incredible showman. It was an entertainment program as well, and he made it.
Yeah.
And became the most famous medium in the world.
Yeah. I mean, people still talk about him today, don't they?
All the time. God bless him.
Like you said, whether you believed him or you didn't it's irrelevant now, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Never
mind Doris Stokes or Derek Acorah.
Yeah.
Too
true. Now, the other question I was going to ask you, but you've answered it anyway, is what's coming next. But you've obviously you filled us in with that anyway. So
basically YouTube's coming. I've been slow because I'm becoming idle. I'm becoming complacent.
Hey, you deserve to, though.
I think I do.
You've done a lot over the years.
I started work at 15. I was very seriously ill, and that's why I forced my parents to let me leave school. I nearly died when I was 16 with a very, very serious bowel operation that could have killed me. And I managed to survive then 2 more years before getting cancer. So that wasn't a good start. Well, I didn't have a teenage life at all.
No.
Then I was not denied. I denied being able to do what I wanted to do, join the army. So I became a territorial officer instead, which I enjoyed for 9 years. It's not the same, but so yeah, I've worked reasonably hard all my life. To say the least. I'm still at it, but I enjoy what I do.
It's good to see. I mean, like I said, the reason why I contacted you a few months ago asking if you'd be kind enough to do an interview is because we have been fans, myself and my wife. I mean, me and my wife's been married well over 20 years now. Ever since we've been married, we've kind of followed you from afar, if you will. From Most Daunting, and like you say, some couple of your books that you've released, and
oh god, yeah.
Like I said, we've listened to your podcasts. So and I thought when you said yes and you kindly agreed to this, I was absolutely
buzzing. Please do it again. Because
the reason why my wife
I also talk about crime and punishment.
That would be good. That would be good because, like I said, that's what we normally do. You see, it is normally true crime from the old days. But the reason why my wife's not here at the moment is because she's just had a bunion removed on her foot.
Oh, good grief!
And she can't climb up the steps into the loft where I am.
No, I can understand that. Yeah,
well, that's why she has to
more than pleased to come on again. I've got some very good Derby, Derbyshire Victorian murder stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some really good stuff. So
Richard,
pleased to do it again.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for tonight. It's been over an hour. I can't believe it's gone so quick. And like I said, I didn't want it to be all about Most Daunted, but you have spoken a bit about it because I just kind of felt before we started recording that to talk about Most Daunted would have diminished everything else that you've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you should be known for so much more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
So thank you so much for coming on. We'll leave links down to all your social medias, your website, your
Absolutely
YouTube
fantastic.
channel.
Yes, please.
People can come on over and hopefully give you all the support. And I personally can't wait until you get more stuff on YouTube. Like I said, the more new stuff.
Working on it.
The funny thing is about your old stuff, I was actually watching your last one. Well, one of your last ones, you were stuck on the beach with your car. Your car got stuck.
Oh, Merseyside goes.
And the funny thing is about that, I actually said to my wife, is this a new video or this? Because this is how well you look. Honestly. I said, is this a new video?
It's 15, 16 years old, probably more.
Is that how old it were?
At least, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Started doing them in 2002.
Right. Because we've been watching them all.
Yeah. And then some of them, the latest one was Essex, when I actually get into Borley Rectory.
Right.
On the site of Borley Rectory.
Yeah, I've not seen that one then.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. And they're more modern ones that my son did, and the quality is even better on those.
Yeah. Is that one? Is that one of those in the pub where you had that glass that moved?
That was later one. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, some good stuff out there.
So for everybody watching, check out Richard's YouTube channel. You won't be disappointed. There's a lot of stuff on it, and as he's just said, some of them 16-year-old, but you won't think
46 videos. 46 videos already.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Richard.
It's my pleasure.
It's been nice talking to you. I'm going to stop the recording now, but stay on.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll chat to you some more before we go.
All the best. Cheers.